Frugal living doesn't have to mean living miserably. The people who quietly become wealthy on average incomes aren't the ones eating rice under a bare light bulb. They're the ones who found 7 habits that permanently lower their cost of living, while their friends barely notice a difference. Here are the 7, and I'll walk you through each one. Buy the second cheapest option, not the cheapest. Own fewer, better things. Cook the same 5 meals in rotation. Fix before replacing. Buy used for anything that depreciates. Automate the boring wins. And finally, protect your time, because burnout costs more than any splurge. 2 friends are going to demonstrate what happens when you do these versus what happens when you overdo them. And by the end, you'll see why the frugal person often ends up richer and happier than the person who tried to save on everything. I'm Mr. Finance, and every week I put real numbers on the money moves everyone talks about but nobody measures. If you want the next one to find you, subscribing takes 1 tap. Now, meet Robin and meet Max. Here's the trap most beginners fall into. They think being frugal means always buying the cheapest option available. So they buy the $8 shoes, the $12 pan, the $30 backpack, and then they buy them again in 6 months when they fall apart. Robin has a rule. Skip the cheapest option, buy the second cheapest instead. The bottom tier version of most products is designed to fail. It exists as a decoy, so the mid-tier version looks reasonable by comparison. The second cheapest is almost always where the actual value lives. A $45 pair of shoes that lasts 3 years is genuinely cheaper than a $15 pair replaced every 4 months. Same for kitchenware, backpacks, headphones, home basics. Max, on the other hand, keeps buying the cheapest of everything. His apartment is full of things that broke within a year. He rebuys and rebuys and rebuys and never notices he's spending more than Robin. Rule of thumb, for anything you use daily, the second cheapest option beats the cheapest by a wide margin over any 2-year window. Habit 2 is a mindset shift more than a tactic. Robin owns fewer things, but each of the things he owns actually works. 10 shirts he wears versus 38 shirts, of which he wears 8. 1 good knife instead of a block full of dull ones. 2 pairs of shoes he loves versus 12 pairs he tolerates. Here's why this saves money. Every item you own has hidden costs beyond the purchase price. Storage, cleaning, maintenance, replacement when it inevitably ages out, and a psychological cost. Clutter increases the odds you buy duplicates because you can't find the original. Max owns 3 phone chargers because he can never find any of them. Robin owns 2, one for home, one for travel, and knows exactly where they are. The frugal move is not own nothing, it's own only what earns its place. A closet that fits your life is cheaper than a closet that tries to store every version of you that ever existed. Food is one of the biggest silent budget killers, and Robin's fix is aggressively boring. He picks 5 meals he already likes and can cook cheaply. Rice bowls, pasta with vegetables, sandwiches, a simple stir-fry, a soup, same 5, week in, week out. Groceries take 20 minutes because it's the same list. Max, meanwhile, spends every evening deciding what to eat right now. Sometimes he cooks something ambitious. Most nights, tired and hungry, he opens a delivery app. His food spending is more than double Robin's, and half of what Max buys goes uneaten. The savings are enormous. Cooking the same 5 meals costs about $220 to $300 a month for one person. Regularly ordering out costs $600 to $900. That's roughly $400 a month, which is $4,800 a year, for a decision Robin makes once on Sunday in 20 minutes. Is it boring? A little, but dinner boredom is a much smaller price than the freedom he buys with the savings. Habit 4 is a skill most people quietly stopped learning. Fix what you can. A shirt with a lost button, a phone with a cracked screen, a chair with a wobbly leg, a blender that stopped spinning. Modern instinct is to replace. Robin's instinct is to check. Is this a 5-minute fix? A $12 sewing kit has saved Robin from throwing out 4 shirts, 2 backpacks, and a couch cushion. A $60 phone screen repair kept a $900 phone in service for 2 more years. A $4 tube of wood glue saved a whole set of chairs. Max isn't wasteful on purpose. He just doesn't know the fix exists, because YouTube ads for new phones show up before YouTube tutorials for fixing old ones. You don't need to become a repair expert. You just need to make 5 extra minutes of research the default step before buying a replacement. Most of the time, the fix exists, costs under $20, and takes an evening. Some things lose value the moment you buy them. Cars, electronics, furniture, baby gear, exercise equipment. For all of these, the smart frugal move is buy them used. A one-year-old car that cost $28,000 new is often $22,000. Same car, same reliability. You've saved $6,000 by letting someone else absorb the first-year depreciation. A used mid-range laptop from a certified refurbisher costs half the price of new and works just as well for the vast majority of use cases. Furniture from local marketplace listings, often nearly new from people who moved, costs a fraction of retail. Robin bought his laptop refurbished, his car 3 years old, and his kitchen table used from someone moving out of state. Total savings versus buying new, over $12,000. The stuff still works. He does not feel deprived. Max buys everything new because used feels weird. That feeling costs him roughly $200 a month in extra depreciation across his stuff, money that disappears the instant he opens the box. Rule: if it's designed to be used repeatedly and lose value, it's worth buying used. Frugal living is not a personality, it's a system. Robin doesn't budget more carefully than Max, he automates more carefully. Automatic transfer to savings the day after payday. Automatic payment on all recurring bills. Automatic investment into a low-cost index fund. Automatic price drop alerts on the 2 or 3 big purchases he's thinking about, so he never buys at retail. Every one of those automations removes a decision from his week, and every removed decision saves him from the small mistakes that ordinary humans make when tired. Max has to remember to save. He has to decide every month. He has to notice the sale. Every one of those have-to moments is where money slips through. Automating them isn't lazy. It's how humans consistently make good financial decisions despite being humans. Rule of thumb: the more of your good financial habits you can put on autopilot, the less willpower you'll need to sustain them. Willpower is a finite resource. Systems are not. Here's the habit nobody puts on frugal living lists, and it's arguably the most important. When you're burned out, you spend more money. It's not weakness, it's biology. Exhausted people order delivery instead of cooking. They impulse buy things that promise a small hit of relief. They pay for convenience because they have no energy left to shop around, cook, or fix. Robin protects his time and energy the way he protects his money. He doesn't work past 6 p.m. if he can avoid it. He gets 7+ hours of sleep. He says no to weekend commitments that would drain him. He goes for walks. Result: he cooks his rotation meals, fixes his own broken things, shops carefully, thinks clearly about big purchases. All of it is possible because he's not running on empty. Max works long hours and skips sleep, and every burnout day quietly costs him $30, $50, $100 in comfort spending he wouldn't otherwise make. Multiply that across a year, and burnout costs him more than most of the small frugal wins his rest would have enabled. Rule: frugal living requires energy. Protect the energy first, and the other 6 habits become easy. Being frugal only works if you can do it for years. Extreme frugality, cutting everything, denying every enjoyment, tracking every penny with anxiety, burns people out within weeks, and when they crash, they often overspend in a rebound, wiping out months of savings in a single bad weekend. The 7 habits above are boring, precisely because they're sustainable. They don't feel like sacrifice. Robin still eats good food, still owns nice things, still enjoys his life. He just chose the versions of good and nice that don't quietly drain him. That's the whole point. Frugal living isn't about deprivation. It's about not being deprived, quietly, by your own bad defaults. 7 habits. Second cheapest, not cheapest. Fewer, better things. Same 5 meals. Fix before replacing. Buy used for depreciating things. Automate the boring wins. Protect your time. Do those 7 and you will spend less, live better, and never once feel like a monk about it. You do not need to do all 7 at once. Pick 2 this week. Add 1 a month. In a year, you will look up and realize your fixed monthly costs are hundreds of dollars lower than they used to be, and you didn't feel a single sacrifice. I'm Mr. Finance. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of breakdown. No extreme challenges, no 30-day sprints, just the real math and what actually works. And tell me in the comments, which of the 7 habits are you already doing? And which is the one you know you should start next? I read every one.